I've got some advice for handling meetings where you need to learn something, make a good decision, and bring a team together. And step one is to not be afraid of looking dumb. I am always, pretty comfortable being the one in the room to ask the stupid questions. They say there's no stupid question, and to some extent that's true. But I find that real basic entry level questions then lead to more advanced questions. And it's always good to start at that basic level because often there will be people in the same meeting who also don't know those things. I use a framework for this that comes out of instructional design. It's called Bloom's Taxonomy. And Bloom's Taxonomy gives us levels of cognitive complexity that we want to guide people through to help them gain an understanding about a subject. The lowest level of Bloom's Taxonomy is remember. That's vocabulary. Do you know the definition of these words? Level 2 is understand and apply. Can you understand the concepts well enough to apply that information to some task, to something you need to do? Level 3 is analyze and evaluate. Can you consider multiple options or opportunities? Can you compare and contrast them? Can you evaluate them and decide what the right next step is? And then level 4, the highest level of cognitive complexity, is to create something new, to take all of this knowledge that you've built on to build something that hasn't existed before. And so when I go into a meeting, whether I know the answer or not, often I will start at that remember level, and I'm going to ask a question. So by way of example, this was a few years ago, but I was working with a small software development team, and we were building software as a service on Amazon Web Services. And they were walking through the architecture and said, we're going to build this and this, we're going to build this Lambda, we're going to build this other service, etc. And I said, hey, let's pause for a moment. Can you tell me what is a Lambda? Like, what's a Lambda? Explain that to me. I'm not familiar with it. I had a vague understanding, but I'm not a software developer. So they're like, okay, let's back up. Let's talk about what a Lambda is. And they define it for me. And I say, oh, okay. So let me make sure I'm understanding this. You are going to build a Lambda to do X. This is what we're going to use it for. And they said, yes, that's right. Cool. Now help me understand, why is this the right approach? And what are the alternatives? What are other things that we might consider? Like, why this one? And we talked through that. And as the product manager, I'm not at that create level for building out the architecture, but I did challenge them to analyze and evaluate. And this is valuable sometimes because a team can get stuck in a rut. They can, hit this mindset where they've got a hammer and everything looks like a nail, and they start reaching for the same tools over and over again. In this case, that was right. But for the exact same team, there was a database structure that they were considering that wasn't right. But they were reaching for that particular database tool and structure because it's what they'd always worked with. And I find that by starting with what's kind of a dumb question, the basic question, what is this thing? Give me the definition. It then creates this opportunity to walk into deeper questions. And it's a little disarming because they'll start off at the remember level, but then I'm walking them into higher levels of cognitive complexity and helping them start really getting into the analyze and evaluate. If we don't go through this process deliberately, sometimes we end up just stuck at understand and apply. We've got the option before us and we just apply it, and we apply it and we apply it and we apply it, and we just keep using our hammer. But as a product leader, not being afraid to ask the basic questions, having that security in your identity where you don't really care if people are like, oh, why is he asking that question? It then lets you get to those deeper questions in a way that doesn't come across as kind of aggressive or dismissive. If I just jump straight into asking them to justify a choice, well, why are you doing it this way? It doesn't sound like I trust them. It sounds like I'm questioning them in a really negative way. But if I walk into it using Bloom's taxonomy, where I'm asking questions for my own education, the end result is the same. They're still reflecting on the decisions they've made, and we're still potentially reaching a better decision. But it comes across as a more collaborative thing where we're working together to help me understand. That's the goal. Is just help me understand your thinking. educate me a little bit. But in that education, I'm really helping them go deeper into the thinking process. And even when we get past the, which tool do we use, we start talking about, well, how does this connect through? What else could we do with this? Is this the right service to use to build, or should we be, evaluating buy something? Like, have you already done that thinking? And if not, it creates opportunities to go deeper. And most importantly, to go deeper as a team, not as an individual, but together. So this is, I think, helpful at any point in your career. And if you are a junior person just starting out in product management or software development, I think it's helpful to have this framework in mind of remember, then understand and apply, then analyze and evaluate. Work your way up one at a time, because it's going to give you an opportunity to ask questions in a structured way to learn, but also to build trust with your team as you work with them instead of, just kind of challenging them, or even worse, staying silent, because we can't learn if we don't ask questions.